agenda. Firstly, we're going to be doing a small presentation of awards to members of the scrap iron industry, immediately following which we will move into a panel discussion that would take us through to the end of proceedings this afternoon. So I'm kindly inviting everyone who is still standing and upstairs to please come and take your seats, and we will begin with the presentation of a few awards to members of the industry. Right there. I would like to ask Mr. David Abdullah, please to stand right at the bottom of the stage, and he will make the presentations on our behalf. The first award will be to Mr. Eros Sijatan, Vice President of TTCEDA. I would next like to call Mr. Eugene Guy. This award will be collected on his behalf by Ria. I would like now to call the first president of TTCEDA, Mr. Kumar Ramlal. Please put your hands together for Mr. Frevon Mitchell. Mr. Deolal Harku, please put your hands together. And last but not least, the current president of TTCEDA, Mr. Alan Ferguson. Thanks very much, Mr. Abdullah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to the panel discussion. And we have three gentlemen on stage who will be giving a small introduction, and then we will move to the questions and answers segment of the program. So to start off the panel discussion, please welcome Mr. Sijatan to the podium.
Pleasant good day to each and everyone. First of all, I'd like to say thanks for the plaque, and feels good to be appreciated. However, let me get to the purpose that I'm here today. You know, in his speech, Mr. Ferguson asked for the truth. Now, I don't talk a lot because I have a bad habit. I just always talk the truth. Wherever it falls, it falls. Now, Mr. Ferguson mentioned that most of the government people we invited did not show up or was unable to attend. Let me enlighten you as to why they didn't show up. They didn't show up because they couldn't show up. And I will tell you why I say that. A few weeks ago, after the law was passed in Parliament, we were privileged with a meeting in the Ministry of Trade. And lo and behold, we went to the meeting, and the people in charge of this whole thing, they are totally lost. They are totally lost. It was a legislation put together by a set of clerks who sat in an office, went on the internet, maybe made a few calls with little or no practical experience or know-how how the industry operates. So when we ask a simple question about dealing with the licensing for exporting containers, and we told them the amount of containers, the head person almost fell off her chair. She had no idea that we were looking at 500 to 1,000 containers per month. She almost fell off her chair. You know, and that was just the first part of it. This is industry under the current legislation involves almost 10 government agencies that all have to work together. How are they going to show up here today when most of them don't even know that they are stakeholders? Right? Now, the reason why I'm saying this and I'm letting everybody know is because let's get out of the clouds. We are not going to be running anytime soon. There's nothing in place. There's absolutely no infrastructure. Like all of you, I came here for answers today. But the people to answer our questions couldn't show up because they have absolutely no idea how to go about this. So theoretically, it was, here's the legislation, but practically, this is where the problems come in. How do we move forward? How do we move forward? You have all these things like Mr. Abdullah was saying, all these things. It was an overkill. Or was it just a plan to kill us? Was it an overkill or was it a plan to kill us? Because most of us, right, are suffering. My phone rings almost non-stop. And I have to say to people, well, this is how it is. And when you say to them, we are not open, you know what they say to you? Well, the government say, well, you're opening on the 24th. No, they didn't say that. They said they were lifting the ban on the 24th, and we will have to proceed according to the new legislation. What they didn't say, not a single person has any clue or any idea how to proceed. None. None. That is why when we brought up the idea of this symposium, they jumped at it, hoping that by this time they would have had something put in place to say to us, to answer the questions, simple questions that we had asked. Apparently, that was never done. That was never done. So here we are. Here we are, waiting, looking for answers that are not going to come anytime soon. Because when the people in charge cannot answer the questions and for the laws and the rules that they put in place, we are in a lot of trouble. Lot of trouble. We are in the process, some of us, of experimenting to see those of us who have millions of dollars. Not me, I hardly have it, I'm smart. But there are those with mountains of scrap that has to be shipped and sold before they can proceed. Because that's the only thing that makes sense. How am I going to continue to buy if I cannot sell what I have? How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? So we are in the process on experimenting to see if the process of the export license works and how it works. Now, the reason why I'm saying this to you, because you're going to ask us questions that we would probably absolutely have no idea how to answer. And one of the main questions is going to ask, when we starting back? I don't know. What's the price of scrap going to be? I don't know. Because the overhead now is going to be astronomical. You know, a lot of us may not even be able to buy and sell scrap. Because when you take, if you have a small yard and you can do 1 container a month or 2 containers a month, it's not worth it. When you take into consideration the paperwork and the headache. You know, so I just wanted to enlighten you, and that is honesty. That is where we at. You understand? And all we can do is hope and pray that they actually get somebody with sense who knows this industry to guide them through this. Or else that's the end of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we are going to open the floor for questions. So we have a microphone set up in the aisle, and persons who have questions to ask, please step up. We could make a line if we so desire, but we would like to invite or to open the floor for questions at this point in time. So please feel free to come up.
Hi, good day everybody. My name is Mr. Francis. I'm a collector, scrap collector. I have my own vehicle, and for the past, this place closed down. It's only God have me surviving because I have a family I have bills to pay. I have to take care of my home. But God is good. He's taking me through. My question to you all, I don't see any lawyers, prosecutor, magistrate, police doing scrap iron. It's uneducated people. Half of the collectors could be uneducated people, seeing the name, you are wanted by the police, but they're still going, because you know why? They can't even spell their name. Guys like this, who cannot do a receipt, or who cannot go into the requirement concerning how they want to do this, what is their position? Our next question is, somebody take up something from Plan B and drop it in Plan A. Sometimes they do it in the night for people not to see, because it's not to really dump thing here, there, and everywhere. And you come across a microwave, or you come across some metal object, and you take up that. Who you get going? Who going to make a receipt to sign the name? It will still have corruption in it, because I will go by a piper and tell him, just sign your name here now. That is my two questions.
All right. So, I cannot answer that question for you. And let me tell you why I... Wait. Right. Well, let me tell you, let me just show you an example why I cannot answer that question. When we went to the meeting, right, and we brought up the question about the collectors, the people in charge did not even know who was supposed to get a collector's license. What they came up with is that every single person in a vehicle, which is totally ridiculous to me, have to get a collector's license. And we left it at that because we realized they couldn't answer any questions that we posed. And that question that you asked there is very frequently asked. Right? So we definitely had the aim to ask that question. But when we realized, don't wait for an answer because nobody knows anything. So, as it is now, until the 14th of April, if we do open, we are allowed, the van men are allowed to run like they were running before, in that you will have to provide a little proof when you come to the yards that you got this honestly, right? And as Mr. Ferguson had said before, we are going to try to issue these stickers, right? But that is as much as we can do, right, Mr. Ferguson? Right? That is as much as we can do. Right? So I hope I answered your question partly or as best I can. Right?
Thank you very much. And I do want to remind everybody that this is being carried live online, right? Now, I actually would like to propose a question while we wait for others to come to the microphone, which is coming out of Mr. Abdullah's speech, that is it possible or would it be beneficial for who were previously independent players to come together in larger corporations to share that burden and make it worthwhile? Is this something that you all see as an avenue forward?
Well, let me just say this, right? As a human being, as a businessman, in order for me to know where I am going to go, I have to know where I am. As of now, with this whole situation as it is, none of us knows exactly where we are because we can get no straight answers. So everything we do and everything we say is by hope and speculation. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Next question, please.
Good evening. My name is Kishon Perry. I is one of the collectors on him. I have a question for Mr. Ferguson. I really want to know what is in place for we to get the collector's license. That you know it have certain firemen who doesn't have the education, who cannot read and write. And what in place from the association for us who will be collectors on the road, in place for us to get this license a little easier then.
As Russ say, the collector's license would not be available until after April. As we mentioned earlier, what you all will be doing is operating in a way that we used to operate, but not going and stealing material and doing a lot of things. And that is why we ask you all to please put on the sticker on your van until better could be done, because we don't himself know by now in April if they will be ready to issue license for van men, because that's going to be a long process. Because when they say April, you still have to wait long because the amount of van men it have, I don't see them doing it by April at all, because a lot of things have to be in place so that to go along. So you all will go along with the way that we used to go about, not by breakdown van, not by van without license, insurance, all different type of things. We don't want that kind of type of thing in the industry again. We want all the members and bandmen to conduct themselves in such a way that people will see us as good businessmen now. So please, all bandmen, let us organize our band in a proper way. Let himself, when we go to in people place, let we conduct ourselves in good clothes, not tie up your head, tie up your clothes bust down and all kind of things. We don't want all of that. We want people to be in good wear, good understanding, good work etiquette, work in a proper way, how you just work. That you go all about and see people working in a proper way. All these things that we want our bandmen and the collectors to be able to do now. Let me change. Change is all of that, you know. Change don't mean laws alone. So we need to change all these things. Let me fix ourselves good. Let me have ourselves conduct when we go in by people's place in a proper way. Let me speak good. Not when somebody asks us, what you say there? Hello? No, we have to conduct ourselves. If we had to get a partner who could speak good and talk to people, hi, morning, good evening, what you have for us today, these are the kind of way we want you all to change, not cussing people. And when you go by people, they're cussing. Let me change all of that too. And the only way people respect us is by we changing our conduct. And we have the most set of problem with the bandmen, and that's why I'm trying to explain to you all, we won't get changed unless we change. And it have a way that God will change. God, if people don't change the condition of themselves, how do you expect God to help you? So we need to change. And change don't come by only the scrapmen alone or the government with different laws, you know. Changes come with you too. You have to make proper change. No matter, we have to fight for better legislation, but we still have to fight for you all to conduct ourselves. It's a change now, because we have people now to register all you, to make sure that all you might have a company. Instead of just be a van man, you could have a registered company. So when you want money to buy a van, when you're banking your money, because it have time you have to get checked. Check how to go into the bank, because it's only a few amount of dollars could pay now in cash. And if you come in a load for $5,000, you will only get probably about $1,500 in cash. So now you have to have a account All these things are to take in consideration. So that's why we have to conduct ourselves proper now. Because bank account have to open, you know. Bank account have to open. So that is why we will put a team to help you. We will organize a team to help you when you have to able to get your license, because it will have people to help you to follow the form, help you to do certain things. All these things is changed, and this is what we planning to do for you. All right?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. So we are Ria Mohammed, representative for Claxton Scrap Iron Men. We are aware of the rules and regulations, but what we was asking is, again, what the association has in place for the men and the women who cannot read and write? Like what?
Now, you see, like I was saying, right, they don't even know what they're going to ask for yet, although the law was passed, right? Remember, the laws comes with regulations, right? That has not been put in place. Now, what Mr. Ferguson was trying to say, right, is that before those laws and those regulations are put in place, right, if we can show that we can manage ourselves, that we can be disciplined and we can act appropriately, when the law comes out, whatever the law is, we can have a voice to go and say, well, this from this date to this date, we started back to work, and this is the result. This is how these guys work. This is the changes they made, right? Then we would have a case to fight. But we cannot sit here and tell you we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Like I said, they didn't even decide who is going to have to get a collector's license. Whether they're going to have a vehicle owner, or whether they're going to license the individual, whether they're going to license the vehicle, whether each person in our vehicle has to be. So how can we have a plan to deal with it if we don't know what it is? And again, I would like to emphasize, it is up to us, while that is being put in place, to put ourselves in place, to put ourselves in position to say, this is how we are now. This is the way we operate.
Permission to speak?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Yvonne McLean Roberts. I have been associated with the TTC for several years. I would like to publicly commit myself to lend my skills and resources to develop individually the members who come forward. I fully support Mr. Ferguson and the Vice President's approach. We will have to refashion ourselves in order to be better businessmen and so on. There is a small business development model that internally we'll be working on getting things in place. So once persons commit to working along those lines, then I'm sure that CEDA will be in a position to offer some amount of advice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Stillen Pierre. I'm a vanman, together with my wife. I want to know what is the association have after this session here, what way forward that you will go to let the scrap iron industry open. That is one. Two, we have a meeting today concerning the stakeholders of the Scrap Iron Association. We have 25,000 members, as Mr. Ferguson and you all say. Can we, as a body, are the 25,000 people, have a protest, have something to tell the government, listen to me, enough is enough. We cannot pay our bills, We cannot do anything what we want to do, send our children to school. We cannot pay our mortgages. We cannot do anything because why? We out of a job. We didn't get no financial help, as Mr. Ferguson said. Not a food card, not a hamper, nothing. This Scrap Iron Association. You said no, you passed a set of legislation, a set of laws you passed for the scrap iron industry. And then you're coming to say no, we can't open because it have nobody. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody in the government, like they don't know what they're going. I want to know why it is we as a body cannot come together. The 25,000 members come together and do something. I ain't saying going to have a bad protest, you know. If it comes to a bad protest, we come to a bad protest, but we could do something to help ourselves. Because, I mean, you know, God, when you watch people, and you watch people today, the scrap iron industry, we ain't getting no help. We ain't getting nothing. And to come and say now, for 6 months, we're going to shut down the industry. And for 6 months, you all are doing nothing to bring legislation to open back the industry. Yes, we had thieving, we had whatever. It goes both ways. My view and my way to you all is what you're going to do as the president, the vice president. What are we going to do after this meeting? I want to know that. And I want to know if we members, if this coming live to online, whatever, and everybody who doing scrap iron, because we are collecting scrap and have it by our home, waiting for this industry to open. What we going to do? Because they're saying you can't keep scrap home by your house. What it is we, as scrap iron people, going to do? Because if we don't start to get things to help our family and ourselves, it will create problems. Thank you.
Very good contribution. Now, I as a leader, I'll always like to listen to the members. But one of the things that you need to know, that I might be the first man to say I agree with you. But sometimes when you're in-house, you try not to talk about the ills in the industry. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of people in this industry that really don't care. They don't care nothing, because we would try and do all kind of things and go by all of them and spend a lot of money to make sure that this way taking place don't take place. Some of them, when you keep meeting, they don't want to come. Some of them don't care to even come this. Some of them don't care that if they have a yard, they don't care to come. That this here is important. They don't care about the poor people in the industry, because some of them have money and they could go along. They don't care about y'all who poor and suffering. And as because I love you and because I love y'all, I had to face it, because I also had to face them too. I had to face them, because I will agree with you that enough is enough. And now is the time we should call out everybody. But if I do that, and only 10% or 20% of them come out, you know what will happen? I will want to do it, because it have things they call peaceful demonstration. And we have to apply to get it. All this we could do. But before I go here, I will ask you, as members, if you want that. And if you want it, I will go with it. Because you is the voice of the association. If you want to come out, I will come out with you. Because I love you. And I have to represent everybody. The people who don't love me, the people who don't like me, the people who wish for my business capsized, the people who don't care about me, I still have to represent them. All the vice president have to represent you all. Because when we go a meeting, we don't go to meeting for we just go say members. And I hope and I pray that before we go here, if you all want action after, I will go with it, because it has nothing to say that we cannot have a peaceful protest. There's nothing in Trinidad against that. The law make room for it. So it's not that we're going to do nothing wrong.
Hi, good day. Name is Balnarayan Ramlal. I am a scrap iron dealer for the past 20 years and more, right? And if it is that you're living on a parcel of land that is about 5 acres of land, have your dwelling house separate from your business, how it is that the government tell you that you cannot have a dwelling house where your business is, and what is the criteria about that? Thank you. I am presently the owner of 5 acres of land. My business is here for the past over 20 years, where I have my dwelling house also separate from my business, where I am living on the compound here at my business place, right? The government passed a law stating that you cannot have a house on your business place. Thank you.
I understand the question now. Now I understand your situation. And if you see me in the Ministry of Trade 2 weeks ago talking about that, I nearly dropped down, because I keep telling them there's people who have houses and they have the houses in the in spaces in the scrapyard. And I keep on telling them, this is going to do a lot of damage. But you know something? I don't know if anybody here from Dump Road in Arima or anybody here from Clarkson Bay who have scrapyards in their house, they don't even understand what's going to take place. And because you understand, you're here today to let them know that this is one of the biggest problems we have. That the government wants all the people who have scrapyards, who have houses in by the scrapyard, to remove it, you know. And when we had a meeting with them about 3 weeks ago, you know what they make sure and say is that them people who had that ain't supposed to get no license, you know. And we like, which part you see that in the act? We like, which part you see that in the act? These people really, and I keep telling you all, I will never lie to you all. And I have some more information to you all that I don't even want to talk. They don't care about us. And you know the reason why we don't care about us is because of some people in this organization, right? They just call the ministry because them have big yards and them have things. They just call to discredit the association, you know. And that is why we need to solve this problem, because some of them, and sometimes they seem so wanting in their favor. They want things in their favor. And that is why we're in the position we are now, because we talk about that. We talk about the people who have houses scrapyard where they have houses. We talk about that. And in a Dump Road in Arima, the whole road is full of a scrapyard where a house. Penal, Bay, Point 14, Clarkson Bay, all these places have plenty houses where have scrapyards. And look at all of this have to go away by the 14th of April. And let me tell you something, when we now talking about this, enough is enough. It's time for we to vote and say, let it come out. We say it's time. I am agreeing. I agree with the person who said that just now. Because I will talk and they don't care, you know. You know why they don't care? Because they don't respect me. And they're waiting for to get vexed to talk out of time and talk. But they don't understand. The person who trained me, I have an idea about the law. And I know what I could say and what I can't say. So they can't tie me up in no speech that I said, that I could say things that they could dram me up in some kind of terrorist talk or some kind of evil talk where they could charge me. I am saying, we, as a scrap dealer, we saying is that we don't know even when we go open. We don't know when all they could be able to start to sell me material. We don't know nothing. And some of them, behind me back, they want to meet them with the ministry, you know. Some of them, and they don't know how to do things, others get called and others know. Them, Just try to have meeting, and they have meeting without me feel that I don't know. But as I go up this step, as I go places, I just get called. And that's what they're doing. Because them don't care about the small man in the industry, them only care about the big yards. And I had to take that and don't tell all you. So I am saying, one man, everybody, if we decided that we want, before we go here, not the people that we've invited here, because y'all could have to, y'all is the stakeholders and you're not part of making the decision. I understand you all and I respect you all coming. I respect everybody who come and who have an understanding. But we in a situation, we don't even know when we go open, you know. We don't even know. Let me tell you something. They put up in the papers, they're going and train 8 inspectors. We submit 2 names to them. 2 names because we didn't want to put plenty. 2 names we submit that could train these inspectors. They're going to use lawyers to train the inspectors, you know. Lawyers. Everything is lawyers, 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 lawyers. Lawyers as politicians. And just see lawyers ain't making no change to the country, you know. I have no disrespect for lawyers, because they're very decent lawyers. There's very nice lawyers like the lawyer that come up here just don't want to speak. Very decent, have respect, all kind of things. There are plenty of lawyers that have respect. But this problem will be in here now. We need to understand that if we don't stand up, they will continue doing me where they're doing me. Sometimes people don't believe in protest. I understand that because I am all not for it. But I represent an organization. If you all tell me to do this, I have to do it, you know. I don't think all you know that, you know. If all your majority always say, listen to me, I had to go and do this because always you want that to have me here. All right? So long as you agree today, I will mobilize. And I don't care who vexes.
I want to say a very wonderful good day to each and everyone. My name is Wayne Modest, better known as Impulse. I'm a calypsonian / soca artist. I was to be here earlier on to start this show, to start a little song that I write. But as I say along, then I listening to each and everyone. What it is, you see, when this open, what we have to do, no matter if it's £100 or £10 of scrap iron, when you go to sell your scrap iron, make sure and get a receipt. There's a reason for that. Now, let me show you something. We as Calypsonians, we are artists. You know, the government find a way to give us a grant. Now, these people lock the iron home by them, they ain't getting a cent. So I think we could come up with something in order for this organization to get a grant from the government that can help these people until this thing open back up. Because let me tell you something, we all are human beings and everybody's suffering together. You understand? So I saying, let us try some way, because we went and tried and we get a grant for which is the artist. So we could get a $5,000 grant for, for everybody who, where the president is concerned, he have the head, he know each and every one, or where the iron dealers is concerned, and try to get a grant for people that under, like what the guy was just saying there, you know, he who woman doing nothing and he have bills to pay. I think let us, we could come together and get that grant. We could get it because we went for it and we get it as artists. So I think we all could do that. Thank you. Yes.
All right. About the grant and about public assistance, we personally send people to try to get grant, food card, all kind of things. Nothing, I tell you, you know. All you believe a lie, nothing. Nothing for scrap dealers. Nothing. And because of that, most of us had to pull out our money to help people who they support our yard. The vice president would have to pull out money. I would have to, boy, oh God, well, I don't want to mention it, no? Because it's like talking about your blessings. Brother, we try all kind of thing. All kind of thing. And I just want to be frank. They don't like me. They don't care about poor people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good afternoon to everybody here. Good afternoon to the head table, Mr. Ferguson, all members, all dealers, and all vendors. As a vendor, I am real concerned. My name is Anthony Lewis. Sorry about not giving that before. I am very concerned by the non-appearance of those who we look up to for direction. In this whole matter, sitting down and listening to the various contributions being made, and here the goodly lady, the lawyer who was here, explaining the legalities. And most of us don't even really have a clue. A set of fancy words that some of us can't even decipher. And to me, I find it real disappointing to know that they haven't seen it fit to recognize this association, and we as citizens of this country who all the wealth belongs to, not no one particular group, but everybody, but the disrespect for the association and me as a citizen of this land, I felt so bad that they couldn't have sent one representative. Is it that they hijack this Trans-Scrap Dealers Association meeting by not sending a representative? Is it a total disregard and just decide to bring a whole bunch of policy to bottleneck the system to keep us from really moving forward as an association who trying to get the industry regulated? Because with all the talk, I hear the talk, it impacted me in no fashion. Because still we really don't know where to go, you know. We really don't know where to go. Because plenty dealers here, plenty vendors here, and yet still we don't know where to go. So, Mr. Ferguson, I am in totally support of you and the members who would like to continue to support this association in taking further steps by a peaceful protest. Because we need to be heard. How long are we going to sit back and tolerate this blatant injustice to us? Because they just discard us. Like we make no contribution to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, like we don't count as a citizen. Is it because we're not up in stature in society? So all I want to say, Mr. Ferguson, I wish the association, and as a member, I will give support to whatsoever initiative that the association and members decide. I am willing to go forward with that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Pierre. I am a van collector together with my husband. And we came here today to know when the scrap iron business will be open. And so is everybody else here as van collectors. And we really came to get something as an encouragement now to know, okay, our bills will be able to be paid. Mortgage and every other bill. And we came here today and going back like with nothing. So this is one main thing for us. As the guy said, what now? Where to go? It is hard because it's going on further. It closed in 6 months. And where to go? You tell us. It is very, very hard for me. I pay my mortgage and I struggle to go through every month. I mean, somebody have to get up and do something for us. And we have to do something more stronger and more powerful for us as a family. Because it's like we go on, look, since this place closed down, we have been going on the TV, on the radio. Mr. Ferguson know that. I used to be with Mr. Ferguson going on the TV. From since day one when they locked down, when they banned the scrap iron. And look how many months, and nobody came out and said, well, okay, give us a grant, give us some groceries, Christmas passed, right? But every month people need the bills to be paid. A lot of people are coming out because nothing is being done. What else we have to do again more stronger than this? What more powerful again? Something we have to come up with. Something, because, I mean, nobody can hear the cry of us. Nobody. And who could stand up today and say something to give us encouragement to go back to outside this building now, to say we don't know when we'll be opening, all our scrap is packing up and piling up. We don't have other jobs to supply on. We don't have nowhere to rely on. We rely on handouts right now today for months. Every one of us have handouts. Where we wasn't before, this is where we is today. I mean, enough is enough. Right? As a woman and a woman of a household, I have to stand up and say something now. Because I've been going on for months, and it's going on further as I see. We have no date set for where I could make my money to say, okay, I could pay my mortgage. Nobody never came out and tell me, here, Miss Pierre, let me help you with a month mortgage. Let me help you. How much is your mortgage? Let everybody put together and do something. Nobody had come out and do nothing. And I've been on the radio, on the papers, on the TV, everything for months now. I have bills to pay. I need answers, and I cannot go back outside there now to tell me that I don't know when this business will be open, where my next income is coming from. It is hard. Something has to be done now. Right? Because I need somebody to stand up and do something. I need answers. I need somebody to do something. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lonsdale Williams, Chairman of the COP, Congress of the People. I just took some time to listen to the reply of your members. But I want to say something. You all don't understand the strength that you have. I keep hearing that you have between 10 to 25,000 members. And if we use an average of 2 persons or 3 persons a household, that's close to 100,000 people that you have behind you. You keep talking about a peaceful demonstration, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And Mr. Ferguson mentioned something that many members are undercutting you. And that's where your problem lies, because you're divided. But even if you can get 25,000 people on the road, I want to recall several years ago a piece of legislation was passed. And when 20,000 people went out on the road, the next day that legislation was pulled. There is power in numbers. The vision that I have heard today is something that Trinidad and Tobago needs badly. When we have some people here, I know Mr. Ferguson, very passionate about getting it done. But members, I want to speak directly to the members. You have a responsibility to go to everyone that is affected. The lady who almost brought me to tears, because I don't like to see ladies cry, all right? I want to say, it might be you and your husband, but there are several other family members you have around you that you can pull together. They may not be directly affected, but their family. What you need to do is every individual find members in their community and pull them together. Mr. Ferguson has already indicated he is willing to lead a peaceful protest if that is what is needed. And I can assure you, if you get 10, 15,000 people standing in one location, probably not even saying anything, the government is going to take note. I'm into politics, so I'll tell you this. Local government is coming up just now. They don't want to see that. General elections is going to come up soon after. They don't want to see people coming together to force them. So use what you have. You have much more. Someone asked me something a couple of years ago, and when that answer came for me, I surprised myself. They said, what can one person do? I said, let me paint this picture for you. If one person stands in a line and another person stands behind, that's just one person. But if I get 10,000 people standing in that line, people don't see the one person anymore. They see 10,000. Don't look at yourself as individuals. You have a group that is powerful. The last time when you all had the motorcade, what did they do? Didn't they stop the motorcade halfway through? Because they fear everyone coming together at that central location. Listen, you have power. Make it count. The last thing I want to say, Mr. Ferguson, you mentioned something about moving from scrap iron to recycling. I have been doing some research on this entire recycling industry. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. In Trinidad and Tobago, it's a multi-million-dollar industry, and that's why they're fighting you. They want it for themselves. Don't give it to them. Stand your ground. It's your right to earn. You have built the platform for it, and don't give up. What I can say, my political leader is not here, but I was sent here as well. The COP will do whatever it can to assist you moving forward, because guess what? We are about people, and we are about helping. And even if it is that we get 100 members to add to your protest, we will be there when you make that call.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Annabella Thorne. I'm an environmentalist and private citizen. I definitely I agree with the gentleman before that, yeah, scrap iron industry is recycling and resource recovery of materials that have an end use and can be reused again. That is what they do when you ship it off to the various locations internationally. So I think there's definitely an industry. And this can be definitely a way that we can contribute to our GDP. They do that with the plastics, they do that with the aluminum, they do that with glass for Caribbery. So yes, definitely I think this is where the association needs to think of how can we change the ways that we're doing things. I'd like to also add that I agree with what was mentioned, that persons may not be able to read and understand what the legislation should be, that they should have another panel like this, where you have all the members who do not understand, can have a good breakdown of what is required, what is needed when you go up to apply for the license, what is the kind of premises requirements, what are the, to really go in depth, not just wait for so when it comes out, you have actually this discussion about it. And to really have all your members understand what's required of them. Because I think that is very important, that moving forward, that the industry will have everything understood, so that whoever operates, they know exactly what is needed. And then I will start my unpopular part, because environment typically is unpopular. I will say yes with scrap iron. It's great that you're collecting and continuing the reuse. But some areas, such as when you have the cables, when you're burning the cables, you release a lot of toxins and health implications that are released into the environment, into your regional space, into your community, for your workers, for yourself. This is something that should be considered if you're going to be processing the cables and other things like that, if you're melting down the metals, there are actually risks involved, and there are technologies that maybe we need to have developed here so that scrap iron personnel, when you're trying to process the materials, that is done in such a safe way. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Bernard Yorching. You know, I'm listening here to all of us here, right? And everyone here is a shareholder in the natural gas and oil. Governments have no money. They own nothing. Every 5 years, we hire them to take care of our money. So whatever the resource is, we have shares in it, just like if we belong to any company, right? I'm listening to these contributions, and it pains me. Because there's a time for everything. I don't think you could go here, as far as I'm concerned, it's your decision. But when I reach a point like this, where you have mortgage to pay, people have no food, have children to mind, there's a point that you have to reach. Like all struggles internationally, from the civil rights struggle to the struggle to gain independence in different parts of the world, from India to Africa to wherever. This is a struggle that deals with your belly, with your livelihood. And the government, I telling you, as Mr. Ferguson said earlier, I don't care who vex. What happened real nasty to you all? Because being a shareholder entitles you at a time that you can't take care of yourself to be able to get a grant, to put some food on your table, to be able to get some kind of subsidy with regard to certain, probably electricity or some kind of thing. Whatever your bills may be, your gas, whatever. Because we know we live in a country where people stole billions and none of them not getting arrested. And they have the blasted money. And for me to come here and to, right now I'm feeling real pain and I working. But you see, the thing about it is that if we don't feel each other's pain, governments will continue to do us this and keep us separated now. Because there's a hostile takeover, you know. If the car parts industry, the used car parts industry had quartered this legislation, 90% of the car thefts will go down, you know. Because they won't have any way to sell back the parts. There's the most set of ridiculous, oppressive legislation that I've ever heard about. When Ms. Ali was there, breaking it down, I had my book and I was writing along just like Comrade Abdullah. And I said, but what the heck? What they're doing is totally frustrating all out of everything. You know why? Because they already have people who want what all your bill. And if you all allow people to take what you build, what I'm dear children, go. I led 2 protests at UTT. I pioneered waste reduction and recycling at UTT, at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, in 2008. And then I led 2 protests there about in the trade union. David Abdullah is the man who used to come in, because I was in the activist council of MSJ. And he came in and spoke with workers, and we bought in the trade union. When they kicked my butt out, well, I had to take that. But I proved where we could save $2.1 million per annum. And when they kicked me out, they said I was in the strategic direction the university going in. Imagine that. But what I'm saying is I managed to bounce back on my feet, but I hear now, and by getting horrors, listen to all the boy, real horrors. And I don't see no peaceful way out of this, you know. But you see, all you all have to direct your leader. Yes, there are peaceful ways. You could go and follow Woodford Square. Nobody can tell him not to stop in Woodford Square. So you don't even need a license to stop in Woodford Square. You understand what I'm saying? You need a license to walk on the road. If you're going to march, you need a license for a motorcade. But you don't need no blasted license to stand up in Woodford Square on a Friday when it's having Parliament. You don't need no license. You don't need no license to take a bus and go in Woodford Square. You don't need a license for that. And you don't need no permission to speak and to shout when they're going in and when they're coming out. You don't need no license for that. And there are many other things. By the time you hear this, I tell you, this really hurting me. It's really, 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 really hurting me. The lady come and talk. Look, you all need to come together, all right? A simple thing. Sometimes all you have to be prepared to get arrested. And they can say what they want about me. I know business with them. Because I saw it is. Because this is where, how you could go home and do no food for your blinking children and your citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, a shareholder in the natural gas and oil. How that could happen? Well, so the Ministry of Social Services never came in and asked a question. Imagine that. They didn't come in and ask the association a question. There's social services we're talking about. Right? A simple thing as that. Social services to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago regardless of what strata you come from. And this thing about bullying and people as thugs, the biggest thugs are those who trying to take what belong to all you through legislation. They're using the law to thief what all you have. That is what's going on here. And when you go and start up against them now, they vex, they call you all kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? But they're creating this and they don't care. They don't get 24%, you know that, right? You know government paying itself 24% more now, right? Them and the opposition agree to it, you know. So apart from the perks with free food, free traveling, free healthcare by big quality healthcare institutions, free traveling, free everything, free housing, they put 24%. And I'm sure if you add on 24%, all of them members, and you add it up, it could have fed all for that 6 months with some food cards. You understand what I'm saying? So you're realizing the kind of heartless, wicked and evil people you're dealing with. You understand? Because nobody from the next side stamp neither, you know. So it's the two of them to blame. Because what I see here are people representative of various areas in Trinidad and Tobago, various constituencies that suffering, just belonging to one organization that they're depending on to represent them to get something for them and their children. So you all have to make some decisions. And don't do it in front of the camera. Woodford Square available. Have some meetings, WhatsApp each other. Make those decisions behind closed doors as to how you're going to approach this to get results. Because from what I hear, you don't have anything in, Minister, don't have anything in the near future, you know. I hear in April and all kind of thing, you know. May, you know. March don't start, you know. So I don't know you're going to make it out. You understand what I'm saying? This is to my pain. So you all need to do what you need to do. That is how it is. Because they really do not care.
Thanks for the contribution.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ronnie Alexander. So, I came here to represent Steelworkers Union. But I have something to say, and I want to just separate from that today. So, I used to work for ArcelorMittal. All right? So, if everybody sitting here don't know what time it is, let me tell you a story so you would know what time it is. So, I used to work for ArcelorMittal. And 7 years ago, ArcelorMittal closed its doors. But how they closed the doors was the problem. They closed the doors, packed up and left the country, but still here, and didn't pay any of the workers their severance. So we appealed to the government for the last 7 years for help. If everyone here sitting here think that this government care, they don't care. They don't care. We ask for help. We have sitting meeting with government ministers who say something here. And then you meet them the other day and they say, I didn't say that. That is how they operate. They don't care. We speaking here as if you're hoping for the government to have a change of heart. The government not going to have a change of heart. Get out in all your mind that the time for diplomacy done. They're not going to have a change of heart. The act that they put forward there is sort of like you get hold for a crime and the government hold you and tell you, when you're ready, we go let you go. You have no natural justice. None. No natural justice whatsoever. You can't get a chance to be heard. You can't get a chance to say your piece. They put something in place to just lock everybody and that is the end of that. They're not going to move. The government not going to move unless you all get together, you come together, and you start to hit the streets or you start to talk, answer them. They must know your presence. Now, you are saying that, some of you, the panel is saying that you need to do things a certain way. Like, you need to do things a certain way, diplomatic. But I'm telling you that I'm done. I've worked for a plant where I see the plant leave and go. The person I was working for a company leave and go, which is metal. Didn't pay workers the severance. I've seen workers commit suicide. I've known workers commit suicide because of financial difficulties. I've known workers that lost the house. Workers have died because of just depression, heart attack, stroke. You can name it, that has died from it because the government don't care. We appeal for help, they would not help. You all understand the situation you're all in now. Now is not a time to talk. Another time to say we're going to do this. Now is a time for action. You all have to take action. If you all don't take action, they will steamroll you all. This government have a procedure by which they operate. First, there's demonize. They demonize all you. They start to take all kind of things in papers. They start to thief, bandit, criminals, scrap dealers. Then after they divide all you. They divide everyone. And then after they destroy it. That is what they normally do. They do it with Petrotrin. They do it with Carney. They're going to do it with some of the other state companies in the future because they're already starting to demonize TSTT, demonize WASA. They're doing it on the papers. You all seen it. So that is the agenda. So the people here need to come together, put your head together, and have a decision on what you're going to do going forward. And it can't be just talk, because talk gets you nowhere. We could say whole day here that the government wicked, the government bad. As this lady was crying here, tears when, sorry to say, but tears when get you nowhere, ma'am. You have to stand up and fight for something. You could cry how much you want, they don't care. I keep reiterating that I've seen it for myself, they don't care. When our company closed, we didn't get any pension. We had to go and fight to get a pension. We asked the government to help us. I delivered 14 letters in Port of Spain, 14 letters to the Minister of Finance. He ignored. We had to go and fight to get a pension. Because they don't care. I keep telling you all that. So if the message I want to convey here today is that you all have to make up all your mind that you're going to fight for what you have, the little you have, and what they take from you. You have to fight for it. They're not going to give you anything. This government, as they've proven in the last 7 years, has an agenda, and when they bring forth the agenda, and when they bring forth whatever they're going to do, they stick to it until it finishes. And then whatever happen after. You can hate them after, they don't care. They'll come and talk and all kind of nice talk, and then they'll pull in 1 or 2 people, maybe treat them a certain way. I don't want to say the word here because I don't want to get in problems. Treat them a certain way and have them under their britches, and then you'll hear everybody singing a different tune. So they've been doing it for the longest while. So I don't want to take too long, but everybody here who here, I guess, love what they do, depends on what they do, need what they do, which is the Scrap Iron Association. You need your job, you need your income, you need everything, but you're not going to get it on a platter. You have to go and fight for it. All right, so that is my contribution. So.
Thanks, Ray. All right. We are at time, so we're going to close off the questions there for this afternoon. I would like to invite Mr. Ferguson to give some closing remarks before we conclude the program.
We ain't supposed to do this here, but the people who put immediate action, who is members, collectors and members, you want to put up your hand so we can see that if you want to do any, put yourself in action. If you want to stand up, put up your hand. Let me see you so we can know. All you put up all your hand, all you stand up. How much are them there, Ross? Eh? So all of majority are you all ready for action? All right. By tomorrow, we shall pull a date. And I don't believe that to carry it no longer. I believe by now and next week, we will state what we're going to do, and we will call on all civil society people, all trade union, all different organizations, political parties, everybody to join with us in this, what we're going to do. We're going to have a news conference, and we're going to ask every single organization to come and join with us. Enough is enough. And we will be pleading with them to bring out the supporters, not to one or two of them to come out. So between today's Tuesday, by Thursday, we will announce the date which we will be coming out. Okay, brothers and sisters? What I would like you to understand, we must not allow them to mamagay us again and tell us nothing. Enough is enough. Because let me explain to you something that if you don't know, himself, they open up. People who are scrapyards, house in the scrapyards, gone. One man who have bad record, gone. All you understand? People who don't have no money again to run the yard, gone. This is a serious situation we face, brothers and sisters. And in my closing remarks, I am saying to you all, let other people join with us, that you know them and have friends with them. This will be a day that this country will never forget. We need to come out and be serious. It must be a day that we must come out and let them know that the poor and the people who make up the society is the one that makes change in countries. And we need to come out and ask all the other people that we know to come out. And don't let me fool ourselves. Not today that we put up the hand. We must call and ask what help we could do to mobilize people. We must call and ask what we must do. Because this industry is us. This is our industry. And we must call on all civil people, everybody, to let them know that it's going to be a peaceful march. Wherever we choose to start, we will decide it based on members, what we will do, whatever we decided to start and stop. All of this will be in a discussion between now and Thursday. So brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank the team that make this thing possible, all the stakeholders who come, all the shipping company, all the Crime Stoppers people, all the lawyers, every single body who came to make this event a successful event. I want to thank you, and I cannot keep on thanking you. I want to also thank Sadiq Bash. He's the one that organized and make sure that this is a success. I want you to give him a round of applause. And for finally, finally, Nicole and, what's her name again? Nicole? Eh? What? Isa. I want to thank them because they play a serious part in putting this together. Nicole and Nisa. I want to thank them. And I want to also thank my vice president for standing with me all the time. No matter what. Sometimes they try to put us against one another. But no matter what, me and he can't bet. All the people they say, they're not getting between me and he. Every time he fall out with anything, they say, anybody say, I'm not getting between two of you. But the thing about it is that sometimes them try, the ones that try to get between two of we, but we stand strong. And no matter what, we is friends for long. And we always is friends and we will stay friends, no matter what. So I am saying, between now and Thursday, we will be calling on a news conference and we'll be calling people to support us in whatever day we choose to have this, whatever we're going to have. All right, brothers and sisters, so I thank you for coming, and I declare this stakeholder meeting over and finished.
All right, well, we have one more little thing to send us off on a note, and that is Mr. Impulse.
Testing 1, 2. Yeah. Love in the house, niceness, correct is right, decent. Yeah, man. Now this is a song I was putting together for you, Mr. Ferguson. You understand? When I see what you're doing, when I see your aim and objective, I fall in love with it. So give me that track, then let me see what we could do now. Volume. Give me a little volume. Volume. Hey! Give me a little on the mic, Hear me now. We moving, hey, we moving with Alan Ferguson. We moving, hear me now. He's a man of class and integrity. Anyway, pass, yeah, blind man could see the scrapper and dealer when they was going through hell. Up come Ferguson and he cast a spell. No more watching down on us as vagrants and thief. So for that we all have to thank the chief. He gave us respect and he gave us rank. So today we could take out and knock on from the bank. Hey, we moving with Alan Ferguson. We moving, hey, we moving with Alan Ferguson. We moving, hear me now. Mr. Ferguson, scrap iron president. We applaud you 100%. This man Ferguson visionary and he bright. He was ordained to show us the light. He trying to deal with treasury, he aiming for Mr. Ferguson. He is the cure. He does help the rich to help the poor, and he does help the poor to get from the rich and more. Hey, we moving with Alan Ferguson. We moving, hey, we moving with Alan Ferguson. He take hell and make it heaven. All you stand up and stand up because I want to give Ferguson a round of applause. Give him it. Yellow, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of today's proceedings. You all take care. Have a safe trip home. Thank you also very much for coming. Good evening, all.